You just got back from work. A typical 9 to 5 with heavy traffic to commute from and to. You're exhausted, but luckily, you feel like gaming today. A rare day, but a day for sure. You open up your go-to console. You know you only have 1 hour to play one game. What game do you pick? To some, this might be entailed as a fantasy, something I made on the spot. But to others, this will hit close to home way too deeply. And I know this is the truth because I know people who are in this situation. That is their norm. Friends, family, and alike. Being an adult has been said too many times that it just sounds like an excuse. But there's a reason why people say that. Being an adult sometimes sucks. And whether we like it or not, to many, it's stressful. And you probably have been hearing this argument all around social media recently. Games aren't fun anymore. Yes, it is. Shut up. And while I do side with the games are fun, I think both of them are missing the point here. Or points. So, join me as today I'm going to be playing neutral in this debate as we talk about why games are and are not fun anymore. One thing before we start. There's a lot of points and stuff I had to cut for the sake of the time and the flow of the script and whatnot, as this video is already long as it is. So think of this as a 1S timeline of an argument per se. But if you still think I still missed a vital point on either side, please let me know in the comments below. So let's start off with a pass, one side to the next, and move forward until we reach the future. And our first point is the past, wanting their future dream. Esports, aka electronic sports, is basically competitive video game with one side fighting another. So we have individuals like Pokemon Battle, fighting games, and even rhythm games like DDR, Dance Dance Revolution. Or you can have a set of teams like League of Legends, Valorant, Overwatch. You get the idea. Imagine if someone told a younger person, hey, you can make a living out of this by playing your favorite video game every single day. That sounds amazing to youngers. That sounds like something they want to do. And esports is one of those things that could achieve that dream. So to be an esports player, you just need to be really good at that specific game and you will achieve your dream, right? Well, not quite. See, unlike sports that has been there for years, esports is a recent thing in history. Heck, this year, Olympic community voted esports to be held in their future events. At one point, I am very happy about this decision, but at the other part, I think it's not the greatest idea. I want to get to why later because I want to talk about these 2 points first. Effort and networking. Effort is straightforward. You need to work hard and objectively know what you're doing to be the best. So in order to be the best, you need to play the game over and over and over and over, just so that you understand what is happening, what you need to do, and how to execute your fight. So you spend hours and hours and hours just grinding on that one esports game. So you will try other games, but that's once in a blue moon situation. And if you want to be, let's say, the best Fortnite player, would you spend every waking hour playing Fortnite, understanding how Fortnite works, watching YouTube guides, understanding inside and out, being faster with your reflexing, just trying to play Fortnite until you need to go to bed? Or would you just spend 2 hours playing it and then do something else? If you set the latter, you're either a liar or lazy. Talking from personal experience, when I wanted to be better at Smash Bros. Ultimate, I dedicated my time and effort just to be good at the tournament. I didn't want to be the best, but I wanted to at least win a tournament or two, or at the very least, reach quarterfinals. Of course, I still had classes, editing videos and play games for YouTube, but Smash was my zone for a couple of weeks. Which leads me to another point, networking. See, it doesn't matter how amazing of a gamer you are if the environment you live in is unlucky. Take Nepal for example. As of uploading this video, there is no esports tournaments that's being held locally here in Nepal. Well, that's a lie. There's actually 2 tournaments that I know of. One of them is Esports FC trademark. It's still the same game, to be honest. The other one is PUBG Mobile, and that is such a left field, and somehow Nepal is amazing when it comes to that. How amazing? They are winning tournaments. Amazing. Sometimes second, sometimes first. It's incredible. That is not something I was expecting. But with that said, any other esports tournaments that I want to be in or want to participate locally, yeah, that's pretty much null now, isn't it? With that said, this whole networking thing is a whole nother argument, a whole nother topic, because it doesn't really relate to the whole games are fun or games aren't fun. But it is something worth mentioning, or at least in my opinion. But the biggest problem with esports is, well, it's a very fluctuating thing. Let's take Overwatch for example. First it was 6v6, then they locked 1 character per player, then it became 5v5, then so many bad patches, then Overwatch 2 happened, and people did not like Overwatch 2. Then it got retitled to Overwhelming -2. You know, the most insulting thing about when researching this video is that this game is now mostly negative. You guys are slacking off. Chop chop. Yes, Overwatch is an extreme example here, but it is a very good example. Like every esports games get patches where characters get buffed or debuffed, and because of that, you might need to change how you play the game. Some games are just not popular enough to be in the list anymore, and some just die, whether by choice or not. Like imagine spending hours and hours and hours on Overwatch just to see it crumbling down. And you feel like a failure, whether by your hand or not. When I was in Austria, I used to join the Smash Ultimate Tournament locally. And for 4 weeks when I was participating in it, I grind, I hustle, I grind, I hustle. And when I went to the tournament with my Game & Watch, I went to the winner's bracket, immediately lost in the winner's bracket, and then immediately lost in the loser's bracket. So I won a couple of sets here and there, but never a single round. That was so crushing. And it genuinely did not want me to play fighting games for a while. Luckily, I had other games to go to and games that I could jump back, and I finally found the love of fighting games again. But not everyone is as lucky or fortunate as me. Not everyone has any rebound to other video games, as it was their only game and it crashed. Not everyone want to try new games because they are afraid of failing again.
Actually, some games are only single player or very relaxing, so it cannot be competitive or make them feel like a failure. And actually, only toxic people will make anything.
And toxicity like that is not helping the case. Give those people some time to heal. Their whole dream was crushed after all. However, if and or when they want to try something new, there are options. Indie games or independent games is pretty much games made by a small team. Well, smaller than AAA teams usually are. So games like Celeste, Buckshot Roulette, Balatro and Undertale are considered indie games. This is a great thing for gaming, not because there's more competition and competition is healthy for businesses, but also because we as a consumer get so many innovative games that sometimes AAA would scoff at even thinking about it. Here, take Spiritfall as an example. It's a roguelite platformer fighting game. Think Smash Brothers, specifically Subspace Emissary on Brawl with endless replayability. And that is a pretty good starter for people who played esports, specifically platformer fighters, and want to get into new games. These kind of games are a great motivation because not only you're familiar with platform fighting, albeit with different movesets per se, but you are also introducing a new genre, roguelite. And besides that, games like Rivals of Aether is an indie platform fighter that is still amazing, and Rivals of Aether 2 is coming out very soon as of uploading this video. So, if someone wants to stick with a genre they are comfortable with, without mixing with another genre like roguelite, they can do it. So there are multiple choices they could tap into because they have played games beforehand that they are familiar with. Minecraft to Terraria, Mario to the Korra and the 5 Pirates of Mara, Sonic to Freedom Planets. The choices are there. But with how good of a positive, with how weighted this positive is, with how shining it is, you need to be careful because it could also be a negative. It can be a double-edged sword. Gaming is an oversaturated market. There are too many games that's coming out on Steam alone. And while some might say this is a positive thing, this is very well a negative thing as well. According to this site, an average of 32.7 are not played in people's Steam library, and that is ridiculous. Of course, I am guilty of this as well, but my situation is a bit more unique. See, according to Steam, I play an average of 79.5 new games every year. This stat is gonna skyrocket up, mainly because in 2022, I was unemployed, and in 2023, I started becoming a freelance video editor and having clients. Point here is, I'm playing around 6 to 7 new games every month. And that is only considering Steam alone. I haven't mentioned other platforms like Switch, other PC launchers, VR, other platforms as well. Yes, Steam is my go-to source, but it's not my only gaming source. And that is only considering new games. Like, you need to consider subscribing to this channel. Don't worry, I hate myself too. Unfortunately, call to action works. Unfortunate. We'll put a bullet point for this topic because we'll get back to this later. But the point for now is that there are so many games that's coming out, and I'll be honest, most of them are not amazing. Don't get me wrong, I have played many games that blows my mind. Chrono Arc, Nine Souls, Grand Blue Relink, Rabbit and Steel, hecking Balatro. But with select few that are grand, grand, most games I played doesn't really click with me. There's a rule I have to put down to myself called the 2 hours rule. Simple and straightforward. I'll play the game for 2 hours, and if it doesn't hook me, I'll move on. If it does, that is my game until I beat it or equivalent of beating it.
And on a side note, almost all the games I have played are not refunded. I think I've only refunded like 6 to 8 indie games in my entire life. And that was also because it was either not fun and/or false promises. But besides that, there's too many games to play nowadays. And you can't just simply say play indie games, because there's indie games that's coming out in Steam every single day. And that gets overwhelming.
Rather than saying play indie games, maybe push them to games they might like. Here, let me give you some example. Call of Duty, Friends vs. Friends, or Left 4 Dead 2, Minecraft, Terraria, Garry's Mod, heck, even Stardew Valley, though personally I prefer Sunhaven, League of Legends.
Yeah, I got nothing here. Maybe Awesome Nuts, but it's been years since I last played that game, and I don't know if it's active or not still. So you're on your own on that one. Point here is, do give them guidelines on what game they might be actually interested in, and not just say, play indie games. Oh, here's popular indie games. Just play one of those, because that's not helping now, is it? Give them something that they might be familiar with, but a new seasoning, a new genre seasoning, or a new taste, or vice versa. Have a new game or new sensation, but with familiar seasoning. Do something around that. Give them something they can attach, and then attach to a new thing. Yeah, I ran out of positive things to say in this argument. Well, technically I have one more, but I want to keep it for the end. And also, it is an answer I'm not too proud of using.
I could also talk about AAA games as a safe bubble and yada yada yada, but I do not believe in this point as of right now. I don't own a PS5 nor Xbox as of uploading this video, nor any plans on getting them. Nintendo Switch games aren't clicking with me except Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. Still salty it's not called Legend of Link. But as of recording this audio, the game hasn't come out. So, future me, is it fun? And Princess Peach Showtime. While it was fun, it felt like a side project game and didn't have that spark I wish it had.
That isn't to say that games aren't fun wins this debate via bullet points. No, the indie game argument is heavy and it weighs positive, and it's pretty much a good argument to have. It's not the only one, but I've been thinking over and over and over for weeks and days, and I just couldn't think of any more positive as of recording this. If you know any, please let me know in the comments below, because I tried to use my noggin and my noggin just said nope. With that said, let's move on to one last negative I want to put in this video. And honestly, it is the most heaviest and the most valid argument for the opposing side.
Besides counting free-to-play games, because that's a whole nother can of worms I can't get into here, long story short, it can be more expensive because of microtransactions. Game costs money. And honestly, rightfully so. People spend time and time on product they want to show the world. It's no-brainer that asking for money for their game is 100% okay. But as a consumer, when you have so many to choose, heck, when you have only one game you can play per month, what game do you choose?
Remember when I say I play 6 to 7 new games every month? Yeah, that's not because of time alone. That is also because I financially cannot buy any more game as of this moment. Here, I'll give you this month as an example. There was 2 games I was really looking forward to, but I can only buy one of them. Warhammer 40k, Space Marine 2, or Final Fantasy 16. In the end, I picked Final Fantasy 16 because I was familiar with the producer, Yossi P, who also produced Final Fantasy 14. And that's the key point of this whole argument, this whole debate, this whole video. Familiarity.
Here, let me give you another example. If you're going to go out to eat something, say in a restaurant, would you go to the same restaurant and order the same food each and every time, or would you go explore new place and try new food every single time? I am definitely the latter in this scenario. Of course, once in a blue moon, I would like to go to the same place and eat there, but the opposite is also true in the opposing side. Once in a blue moon, same taster wanna try something else. And when you add limited budget into the mix, trying something new can be very risky.
What if you buy a game for this month only to be mid? And as someone who has played so many games, mid is more common than you think.
So that's it. The risk of playing new games can be too high, and going with your familiarity is safer, despite burnout being most likely. And we have seen people argue about. Familiars will just play Call of Duty, Fortnite, Minecraft on and on and on without trying new games, not because they can't, but because they don't know if they should. Case closed, right? Well, no. There is an answer that pretty much helps with this dilemma. But it is a narcissist answer.
I really didn't want to put this point because I'm essentially telling you guys that you need us in order to determine whether you want to play this game or not. And well, in today's market, yeah, you kind of do.
This is why I said technically early in the video, because this is a very gray area in not only in video game topics, but honestly when it comes to positive and negative side of it. If you saw someone do a let's play of a story mode game of sort, are you still willing to buy the game despite you already know what's gonna happen? And I am asking this genuinely because I have seen both sides of it. Some actually did and some actually didn't. But when we see others like vid essays, video game reviews and other, then things change. Review games to see what specific people might think of specific games is always cool. Some call me Johnny, Skill Up, heck, even my friends Wayne is Boss and Snoop Lexi. Then people who talk about multiple games into one video, Scott the Wars, the best channel ever with a Maxim, and Yoko Common. And finally Miscellaneous, Video Game Donkey, Maximilian Dude, technically Moist Critical, but he does more than gaming.
But honestly, he talks so many topics, like even Subway. Subway would be on their knees, jealous, drooling of the imagination of having so many topics this man can carry on his mouth, raw, no editing, and millions of views per each video. Disclaimer, I like Moist Critical. I think he's an amazing dude. But as someone who edits hours for each video, life isn't fair, man.
And despite my opening, Let's Play isn't any worse. Heck, prime example is I bought Enter the Gungeon because of Jacksepticeye. It was more so I was thinking I could be a better gamer than him via gameplay, but I still bought the game because of him.
Turns out this game is harder than it looks. Whoops. I'm sorry, Jacksepticeye. I made a severe lapse of judgment.
Content creators are necessary in this market because there's too many games with too little money to spend on. And while it's not the best answer for some, it is an answer. So if you ever wonder if you want to get into the game or not, look around YouTube or Twitch or whatever and see some gameplay or review around it and see if this is your jam or not. Just make sure you can verify they can actually, good at playing games.
We have set the bar so low that if you want to be a video game journalist, the passing grade is if you can play video games. Like I mentioned earlier in the video, there was a lot of points here and there that I wanted to mention, but I couldn't because the flow of the script would be interrupted. Well, more than it already is. That and the length of this video is going to take way too long than it already is. So if you have any valid points or if you have anything you want to put out there, please leave it in the comments below. Like and subscribe as well. And remember, games are fun. And if you're having fun at the end of the day, who are we to judge?